Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. Today, we're going to talk in greater depth about Maitreya's priority about sharing and saving the world. Now, many people fear the thought of sharing resources with anybody, their neighbor, sometimes even their own family and their closest friends, but let alone the other people on the other side of the planet, strangers that they've never met. And it's interesting, especially living in the United States, how much fear and distrust there is when you bring up the word sharing. And it's a natural function that we all at least used to do when we were kindergartens, before we were conditioned that this is mine, that's yours, what's yours I want. So if I'm strong enough, I can take it from you, and so forth and so forth. And that's become the norm. To sum it up in a saying, the strong shall survive, it's a jungle out there, and it doesn't need to be. From the master's point of view, competition should have been rooted out of our consciousness and our vocabulary millennia ago. And yet, it still holds the world enthralled. It keeps us from moving forward as a people. It keeps us from seeing each other as one, does it not? And according to Maitreya, the real sin is separation. That's what creates all the problems in your life. The sin that you think that you are separate from God, from each other, from your environment, is what's causing all manner of problems in all our lives. And it seems like there's not one person out there living a day-to-day life that is totally immune to this sin. It creates fear in our life. It creates all sorts of problems. And just the notion that there's a heaven and a hell comes from the fact that we believe ourselves to be separate. Truly. But it's false. We are not separate. Not separate at one bit. We're not separate from God. We're not separate from Jesus. We're not separate from Maitreya. We're not separate from each other. And we're not separate from the third world who die needlessly every single day. It's a problem that we must address as a people, or we will not go forward. Now, Maitreya says, take your brother's needs as a measure of your actions and help solve the problems of the world. We all need to chip in. We all need to look at ways of sharing. But it's more than just you and I. It's nation to nation. And I touched a little bit on it when I was talking about Maitreya's priority, number one, and also about, in the video I did, about Maitreya saying that sharing is the only path to peace. If there was another path, he'd be talking about it. But the only way to peace is to create justice in the world. The only way to create justice is to help share the resources in the world. And in this country right now, we have more than enough food, more than enough resources to help these people who are literally dying every single day. Most people in this country get, they're torn up just about 9/11, even, a decade and a little bit after the fact that 9/11 happened. Well, that was only 3,000 people who died in one day, which is a lot, don't get me wrong, and it was a terrorist act that had that happen, right? But people, tens of thousands of nameless, voiceless, people die every single day, needlessly. Maitreya says, nothing so moves him to grief than this shame. How can you call yourself men with this injustice in the world? So I ask you to look at again and watch some of the videos about who Maitreya is based on his priorities, not who I think he is. I think he's the Christ. I see the love that he has for humanity that only somebody at the stature or the level of the Christ could possibly have. If you think Jesus is the Christ, that is totally fine with me and with Maitreya. And I'm not asking you to not believe that. There's no reason to say that Maitreya is the Antichrist, because A, he's not, and B, he's not asking you to believe anything than you're already believing now. The only thing he's asking for is you to share, rather than devote all your energy and your devotion to Jesus, devote some of that to helping save some of these people who are dying needlessly. So thank you for letting me share my side of the story and share this even further, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.